Good morning, traders. This is Razak at CMTrading. Welcome to our market review. Today is Monday, April 7th, 2014. Just going on the back of last week's non-farm payroll numbers coming out of the United States on Friday. Almost a non-event. The euro sold off about 100 pips, a little bit less than that, fighting itself. A new base at 1.3700. The euro has been a great scalping trade. There have been definitely some levels to really get in, get out. If you're at the top of the range, to definitely short the symbol, and at the bottom of the range to buy it. So there have been a very choppy market for the Euro USD as we look at a longer time frame. Hit the high of 139, not breaking higher, and then taking it apart and slowly retracing. This, of course, is around the time when Yellen was speaking about a couple of weeks ago, and so since then the dollar has gotten stronger. It's still a great symbol to have on your watcher, but it hasn't been really trading. The GBP, Japanese yen, but more so it hasn't been trending. In terms of the GBP, Japanese yen, also some beautiful trades in it actually, with it hitting 172 level, almost like a triple top as we can see here on the longer time frame. This is 8 hours. And we see that it retraced almost 250 pips in the past 2 weeks. So it has been trading really nicely. And so if you were able to catch this early move and anticipate, instead of it breaking out, if we're looking at a daily, we see it really made itself almost a triple top right over here, challenging this 174 level, 173, getting in small, short, and then getting more aggressive as the trade went along your way. At these levels, I think we're hitting some resistance, previous resistance, now support. So I would anticipate buying it here, and maybe taking a little bit of a stop loss right underneath it around this area, but building into the position. I mean, these things, this symbol has still been very strong, as you can see, gaining more than something like 4,000 pips since last August, 2 years ago, August. So in the past year and a half, it's really been trending up. So you don't want to fight that trend, and maybe we can anticipate a breakout at these levels. So it can happen almost at any time. So it's important to keep that on your watcher. Moving along, just to jump into the gold really quickly. As always, when you're trading, there's always an inverse relationship between the gold and the equities markets. Gold really bounced nicely after the news on the non-farm payroll, and jumping from 1285 to about 1300, and now it's hovering around the 1300 range. I would say that there's a nice support on 1297, some resistance at about these levels of 1305, 1316. If it's possibly going to go higher, it does look like it's basing itself at these levels. Tried to break this 1280 level and didn't. And then, there's a little bit of these short coverings that are now moving the symbol up. Whether or not is it a long-term buy, it could still gain back some of its losses from 1382 to about 1320, 1330. Definitely could. So I would look for buying the retracements in the gold. Moving into the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones had the most adverse effect to what the news came out last week, retracing from its highs of 1660. As you can look here, these were literally on its dead highs. And as beautifully spoken, these things usually correlate with the news. So as we're hitting these big highs over here, just to, right here and right here, the big news came out, and look at what happened. This thing fell apart. Okay, that's almost a 200-point move, 200 basis points in the Dow. So it's just interesting the way the technicals sometimes correlate to the news and the economic calendar. Okay, it's definitely not by chance. Okay, which is really, you could see that here, which normally I don't get a chance to show it to you in such a vivid, vivid profile, but you can see that really clearly here. So the Dow Jones is still very strong. The economy in the States is still getting stronger, and things there are rebounding quite nicely. We failed this higher attempt to go above 16,650, 600. And now I think we'll be range trading. Okay, it'll find itself, at certain points on the bottom side. If you're buying around 16,250, if you're selling on the higher side of 16,550. So anywhere within this range, I believe it'll trade in this range for a little while until we see some sort of upward movement or downward movement based on how the economies and based on how the companies' earnings are going to come out in the next quarter. Moving into the USD ZAR, okay, for you guys back home in the South Africa, we tried to hit this upper level of 1120 just a couple of weeks ago. We didn't break higher. And guess what happened? Okay, it fell apart. We saw this nice move up all the way from 1740 from a year and a half ago, breaking above 960, breaking above 10, finding this little training range last summer, and then really tearing it apart up until 1120. But as you can see at 1120, there's some huge resistance. Whether or not this is going to continue going up is the question of the day. If we just look just more recently, okay, let's just populate the graph, see if we can do that. It's been retracing since 1120. I would say it might be a good place to pick it up right here. There's some resistance here, some support for a nice little pivot move to 1070, 1065, 1080. And then we'll be range trading until this continues to show us that it's weak. There is no economic news out for today, okay? But I do expect some more later on in the week as we have Aussie unemployment change, Fed minutes tomorrow, and some other news coming out of the UK and Germany later in the week. This is Fred Razak at CM Trading. Have a great trading day, guys. Keep well. Thank you. Bye.